Hello everyone, and today, or yesterday should we say, that the review for Knights of the Fallen Empire went live on IGN, which was interesting considering the game released on the October 20th, went early access, and October 27th was the game released, so 3 months almost after the game released, IGN put out a review for Knights of the Fallen Empire. Now, a lot of people are kind of upset, kind of angry at this review. Honestly, I think it hit the nail on the head, personally. I think it's pretty good. It's actually, for an IGN review, which you never really trust, it's actually fairly honest and fairly accurate to summarize the problems that are in Knights of the Fallen Empire. What it says, we'll do some quotes for you. That it makes combat so easy that it's insulting. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Combat is insulting. You know, the fact that I went through the whole story as a sniper using 2 buttons in my rotation. Yeah, they said that they are, it's never as good as it could have been. And I agree with what they said. They says learning to play in order to defeat some tough single player bosses back in 2010, 2012. Again, those are gone. Those Jedi Knight quests, I remember trying to get through that. Having to buy stims for that at low level, trying to get through that, trying to buy strength stims just to do enough damage to get through that. I agree with that. And Oricon as well. Remember those bosses? Those were tough bosses back then. Now just turn up, face roll everything. 2 buttons is your entire rotation. So yeah, I agree. Certainly agree on that point. They did say that BioWare would have been better off teaming up with Telltale. I think that's a little bit too far. There's a little bit of gameplay there. But yeah, so yeah, there's not really a lot here that I don't agree with. I mean, it's fairly well balanced. I'm trying to find the. There was a really good quote here. There was a really good quote that I'm trying to find. Damn, I can't find it. It's quite a good one. It says, it's all well and good that story is king here, but the problem with Knights of the Fallen Empire is that BioWare pushes it towards despotism. Good word, I like that. So focused on attracting new players to a legitimately good Star Wars story, it makes the combat so easy, it's insulting. Okay, I agree with that, okay? The focus on story has been far too much. And Fallen Empire, it's losing its charm, to be honest, the story. I wish more of the choices would matter in Fallen Empire. If you look at the best example I can come up with is Lana. If you don't use Valkorian's power, why doesn't Lana die? Because it says her death is almost certain. So I thought, oh, if I don't use her power, use his power, she'll die. So I was thinking, oh, right, maybe Lana dies and maybe HK55 lives. So I was thinking maybe that could have worked into that. If you pick Lana to die, if you pick the light side option, sacrifice Lana, then you can keep HK55. Nope. Lana just gets injured. Spoilers, we should point out in this. Spoiler alert. If you haven't played Fallen Empire Story, why are you watching my video? Really? Seriously, why are you watching it? But I think some of the things like that, obviously the story isn't done yet, it's just the 9 chapters, but broadly, it's right. I mean, I miss group content as well. I think everyone's saying you can't do an MMO with single player content, especially a subscription one, because story ends, and it does say about the end game that it is broadly the same, and it is just a grindy end game. Again, it's hard to disagree. The alliance system is pretty good, but not very alt-friendly, ultimately. As we get into it on alts, we're thinking, this is just a grindy kind of mess at the moment, is this alliance system. And you collect companions that you're never going to use, mostly, so they just end up being trophies and achievements, the companion system. That's my opinion on it. They gave it 6.5 out of 10, which is fair enough. You can't argue with that, really. It is buggy, it is broken, parts of it's broken. I wonder what machine they were running it on, because I watched the video review as well, And they seem to be having problems with that. I mean, really, it seemed to be running about, what, 10, 15 frames a second? I just wonder what machine they were running on, because I can get more FPS than that. Or maybe they were running with the settings up too high. Because if you turn anti-aliasing up too high, and you turn the shadow resolution up too high, it is going to create problems. Okay, I'd have turned those kind of things down if I was doing that, if I was doing the review. But it's IGN, so, you know, they're not the best, really. I'll come to say that. But, yeah. So what do we think about the great fuck you nerf, as I'm calling it? Really, as you can see by the footage here, I was 7 manning Karagas Palace, so it's Karagas Palace hard mode, should point out. So it's not really affected us too much. Did EC HM for the first time. Did it? I think we wiped twice on Firebrand and Stormcaller. Yeah, I think we did just wipe twice on that. We didn't wipe once on the minefield, should we say. So 3 wipes, clearing ECHM. Not bad. Not too bad, actually. Did Warlord KOTFE first time. It was pretty good. That's pretty good. KOTFE is pretty cool, actually. It's not as hard as you remember it. It's like, these things weren't as hard as we remember, really. I guess because the classes are totally different, but I did it as tactic spec, and oh shit. Do you notice the difference? Tactics is useless now. The big problem with tactics is if you kill its burst, you kill the spec. Okay, it's just a horrible energy management spec. And I've seen some of the data that Pyro and Pyro/Plasma is now the better spec. It's now the higher parsing spec. Now it's doing, well, average parse is about 6.5K versus a 6.3K on tactics. It's a big nerf. Tactics was really, really good and really fun to play. Thematically, I prefer Pyro on the power tech, to be honest. I think Pyro is pretty damn good. It's not bad. It fits thematically, I find. So, tactics, it had its moments, it had its burst, but now you're just energy man. It's just you're just looking at this thinking, right, we got no burst, so we're just going to manage our energy for the majority of the spec. Because we could have these phases where we could just be big dick DPX. Raptus was a great example of a tactics vanguard, because you could just go big dick, wait for the challenges, and your energy would regen, go big dick again, come out of the challenge, and wait for the curses and things, and wait for when you went immune. So you'd have energy, you'd have downtime in those moments, so you could just go full steam ahead, and you could produce some really nice numbers on Raptus. It was really nice because you got the first phase where you go down to 90%, just go big dick, who cares about your energy management. The second part where you get your curses and he's immune, you get your energy back, then you can go big dick there after you get your curses. And then, you know, because you have to wait for the healers to start their challenge before you start your damage challenge, so you're just standing around for a bit doing nothing, so your energy regens then. And then you go in, big dick obviously, on the ad, because it's a DPS challenge, pop your cooldowns, go big dick on the ad, and then, you know, you're out of the fight, and then, you know, it's back to a little bit of a phase with Raptus before he goes immune again, so it's just a series of bursts. At the end, you just have to manage your energy a little bit, but right now, Plasma is the way to go. Plasma is the way to go. It is the superior cleave spec, as we said previously, but yeah, the big nerf is quite annoying. Apparently, the marksman sniper, and do you want to know how bad tactics is? I saw a post where they did the average, the DPS leaderboard thing. Scrapper scoundrels are ahead of tactics. I shit you not. Scrapper scoundrels in the same gear, ahead of tactics vanguards. Have you ever seen anything like that in the history of this game, where a scrapper scoundrel could out DPS a vanguard? That is bad. I mean, that is seriously bad. Ruffian still is. I think Ruffian's still ahead, though, despite its nerf. Still ahead of Scrapper, so there you go. Marksmanship is fucking useless now. Practically fucking useless. Engineering is still viable, despite its nerf. But yeah, the Marauder is king at the moment. I think the Marauder is the highest parsing spec at the moment. I only saw one post, really, that had the leaderboards on. So I haven't actually seen, you know, I haven't looked at, you know, the data in depth. but I'm just looking at what I've seen in 224 gear and in 220 gear. I've had a look at them both. So it's nice to know that at least one spec is viable. So we get to go Plasma from now on, which is the easier spec from a gameplay standpoint, really, over tactics. But it means we have to look at our gear again and have to say, look, and maybe I want more crit, maybe I want a bit more alacrity now, maybe swap some alacrity for crit now in Plasma because we don't have to manage our energy a little bit. So it's like, you know, we're tweaking again in this spec. We're sort of in the middle of a raid tier. Did you have to go and do that? You know, couldn't you? Well, of course, the alternative is put out a new raid, which they're never going to do. You know, that would take effort and time, and this team can't do it. They just can't do it. Story. Focus on the story. It ends, okay? We'll get another maybe half hours with the story in February to look forward to. And then, you know, it's subscribe till August. And then you'll get HK55 for 5 minutes. You'll get to play as HK55 for 5 minutes. So that's going to be... that's going to be fun. But anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon. And goodbye.